The General Data Protection Regulation is being called one of the biggest ever shakeups in how businesses deal with personal data. It takes effect on 25th of May 2018 and potentially affects all businesses, or in fact anybody or anything engaged in economic activity, from sole traders all the way up to the biggest corporations. So, are you ready for the GDPR? First things first. What even is the GDPR? The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, sets out a list of minimum responsibilities for businesses in relation to the personal data they collect and process relating to individuals in EU countries. What's considered personal data is much broader than ever before and now includes things like location data and IP addresses, or even the cultural or social identity of the individual. It also gives individuals many new rights over their data and rights over what businesses do with it. This also impacts businesses because they have to put in place procedures to respond if people make use of these rights. But it isn't just you or the individuals you deal with who are affected. The GDPR also governs the processes third parties you might utilize to deal with data. This means that they also become responsible for data breaches when handling your data. But what's the worry? You already comply with the Data Protection Act, right? Or maybe you thought you just never had to bother with this kind of thing before. Well, the GDPR supersedes all existing data protection legislation, while also adding a whole heap of new requirements on top of those older laws. And one of the goals when the GDPR was created was to ensure that laws regarding the protection of personal data were made uniform across all European member states, in particular with regard to online activity. There's no grace period or crossover time after the GDPR comes into effect in May 2018, so you'll need to be ready well in time. Okay, so the big question is, what happens if I don't comply with the GDPR? Aside from the obvious, such as not being able to do business lawfully in the EU until you achieve compliance, or a reputational damage to your business, the GDPR brings with it some eye-watering potential fines for breaches. For contravening the GDPR, you can be fined up to 4% of your annual global turnover, or 20 million euros, whichever is greater. You might be fined even if there is no actual loss of data. What about businesses outside the EU? Even if your business is based outside the EU, if it offers goods or services to individuals in the EU or monitors their behaviors, it will need to be compliant with the GDPR. Don't let your business become another statistic. Compliance is serious business, and it starts with every one of us. For your business, it starts with you. All products, processes, and people at Sage are getting ready for the GDPR. We lead the way in modeling best practices in compliance. We believe it's the Sage thing to do. Sage has always placed a high importance on adhering to compliance regulation, and the introduction of the GDPR in May 2018 will be no different. Sage is committed to providing you with software products and services that are ready for the GDPR, and to arming you with the information you need to learn more about the GDPR for your business. Partnering with Sage for your software needs is just the first step towards being prepared for GDPR. Sage strongly encourages you to seek your own legal advice to ensure all of your business operations are ready for GDPR. If you want to learn more about what Sage is doing to get ready for GDPR, visit sage.com/GDPR.